Hi there and welcome to the Project Corner. Today I would like to take you back in time to where it all started with the Project Corner. At the very beginning, I did a series of incorrect ways of using Microsoft Project. And now that I have a YouTube channel, I want to share them using video. So let's head over to the first flaw that is that happens a lot. So this is date-related planning. So let's head over to Microsoft Project. Here we have a very short, very easy schedule. From the looks of it, it looks okay, right? It has all these cascading waterfall-like tasks, it has milestones, it has summary tasks, and it has a whole lot of blue calendars. Well, these blue calendars actually are constraints. You don't want to have any constraints, or you want to have the least amount of scheduling constraints in your schedule. For instance, why is this wrong? Well, if we're writing the business case and we take 2 weeks to do that, and after that we can gather the team, then what happens if we change this to 3 weeks? Or maybe even 4 weeks, right? So let's change that to... Oh, hold on. Now this task takes a lot of time extra, and it even goes way past the phase 1 completed task here, right? And we can even say that, well, if we just do 1 week of work, we just created slack. Well, that's not something that we wanted to create there, right? So there's no dynamic scheduling going on in this type of schedule. Well, that just doesn't make any sense. And these blue icons here, they just say start no earlier than constrained and the date where we set that date. And another thing that you can see here is that there's even an overlap of phase 1 and phase 2, even though they have the same dates. Well, that's because if you have a milestone at the end of the day and you have a start date at the beginning of the day, they actually start on the same day, or they actually happen on the same day. So you can zoom in, and here you have that same situation where the task isn't finished yet, and the other task is starting already. That's just wrong. Here happens the same thing, where this task ends at 9 August, and the milestones start at the beginning of the day, not at the end. Deadlines start at the end of the day. But this is all wrong. So how would you correct this? How would you go about correcting this schedule? Well, first thing that you need to do is you need to get rid of those blue icons here, right? So there's a number of methods to do that. There's a number of methods to do that. And the easiest way is to double click and go over to advanced and select the constraint type and say as soon as possible. You don't need to fill in the date because it's as soon as possible. And boom, it starts at the beginning of the project, the start date of that project. Well, that's okay for now. The other way to do that is to have the column constraint type and constraint date in your Gantt chart view. And to do that, I'll just remove them here and I'll show you how to do that. So you can add a column called constraint date, and you have another column called constraint type. And you want to go for as soon as possible because we want to have dependencies going on here. So, alright. So, everything starts at the beginning of the project now. And because I'm recording this in the weekend, it is actually in the weekend, and milestones do happen in the weekend, but tasks start at the first work day. So let's remove them again. And what we want to do is not have a date constraint. And how did we create those date constraints, right? We used the start and the finish dates. So for instance, what I did here is I hit Control C, Control V, and again I did this also for phase 1. That was how it happened. As soon as I fill in dates here, we will see these little blue calendars pop up, and we don't want those. As soon as possible. So double clicking on the task, constraint type, which is in the advanced tab, as soon as possible. So rather than having those constraint dates, because we don't want constraints, we want a dynamically flowing schedule. We want to have the predecessors here. So for instance, getting the team together happens after writing the business case. So let's head over and let's set that, write the business case here. We'll close that up. Here, this is what we like, where there's a little blue arrow saying that if this task all of a sudden takes 2 weeks, the other task moves. That's great. So now we'll do that to the phase complete, and there's different ways of doing this. If we select these tasks and right click, there's this linking icon, link the selected tasks. And there's another way, but let's just do this the easy way, selecting all these tasks, and maybe I'll do a video on constraint types or dependencies later on, but this is just the date related scheduling. So let's go over, click on 4 here, and now we have a dynamically scheduled project. Any of these tasks, if I change any of these values, the whole schedule changes with it. And there's no overlapping because the first task needs to be finished before the other task can start. This is a start to finish or finish to start dependency. And you can see what kind of dependency this is by going over to View, Details. You'll see that it's a type finish to start. There are 4 others, or there are 4 in total, but we'll get to that in another video. So that's it for today. This is the first flaw, and there are 7 in total, and I'll do all of them in the video. This is just a short video to let you know that date-related scheduling is not the way to go. So don't use that start date, don't use that finish date. Only use them if you have a real reason to have this construction not starting in September, but you need to start it in the next year. So for instance here on the first, I even get a wizard said if you want to move it, you can even remove the link, but I'll move it and I'll keep the link, because if preparations starts to be very late, then we do want the construction to move as well. So here we go. We have a dynamically scheduled schedule, and we have 1 constraint date. And if we do have a constraint date, please make sure that you also have a note saying why it should be there. This task needs to start next year, for instance. So with that, this was a little tutorial on date-related scheduling. Don't use that start and don't use that finish date. It is purely there for visual information. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button as well. Hope to see you next time. Bye.